Okay, in today's presentations, I am presenting the Assam Temporarily Settled Areas Tenancy Act 1971. I have been presenting from the last class under this topic, and today also I am presenting under the same topic. Here, now Now the under tenants, based on the under tenant concept. Here, section 20 of the Assam Temporarily Settled Areas Tenancy Act. Here, simply lays down that from the date of commencement of the Assam Temporarily Settled Areas Tenancy Act 1971, there shall be no new under tenant holding land under an occupancy tenant or a non-occupancy tenant. This is in conformity with the prohibitions of subletting by the occupancy tenants or the non-occupancy tenant. Yeah, section 20 of the Act expressly given that. Yeah, after the enactment of the 1971 Act, tenancy law, there will be further no concept of under tenants, under the occupancy tenants or non-occupancy tenant. It is expressly prohibited. But now uh, we have to see before the coming of this 1971 Act, there were already existing under tenants. Under the occupancy tenants. This was known as the privilege rate under the privilege rate or non-occupancy tenant. Here, now for these under tenants who have been existing before the coming of this 1971 Act, for them this 1971 Act, they have given some scope. That is, for the acquisitions of the ownership and for the acquisition of the intermediary ownership rights by the tenants and under tenants. Here, now, at first, tenant at sufferance. This concept, tenant at sufferance. Here, a tenant may retain and continue to be in possession of the leased property after the termination of the lease or in its determinations by efflux of time. If such retention of possession is without the consent of the landlord, a tenant is commonly known as uh, a tenant at sufferance. Now, at first, the basic concept, tenant at sufferance. That means the tenants who have been holding the land under the landlord, if the time period has already expired, after the expiry of the time period, after the efflux of time, if they have been continuing without the consent of the landlord, this concept is known as the tenant at sufferance. That is, they have to suffer if the landlord wishes to eject them. Here, the landlord has the authority at any moment of the time to eject such tenant. That is the concept of the tenant at sufferance. They have to suffer because they have been continuing after the efflux of time, after the expiry of the period of time, without the consent of the landlord. That is the concept of the tenant at sufferance. Now, a tenant at will, tenant holding over. Here, a tenant in position with the consent with the landlord is a tenant holding over or a tenant at will. Here, statutory recognition to the concept of holding over has been accorded by sections 116 of the Transfer of Property Act, which contemplates that if a tenant remains in possessions after the terminations or determinations of the lease and the landlord accepts rent from a tenant or otherwise assents to the uh, tenant continuing in possession, the original lease may be deemed to have been renewed either from a year to year or from month to month, depending on the purpose of the lease as specified in Section 106 of the Transfer of Property Act. Yeah. Now, tenant at will or tenant holding over. Now, this concept, if the tenant after the expiry of the period of lease, if they have been continuing against with the consent of the landlord, then it comes under the concept of the tenant at will. And for these provisions also, Section 116 of the Transfer of Property Act, it also provides you about the redemption of such impositions. If the landlord again accepts the rents, then it is automatically renewed. That is, this status of the tenants, it will be automatically renewed if the landlord accepts the rent from the tenant. Section 116 of the Transfer of Property Act, it is expressly given. That is, now the acquisition of intermediary and the ownership rights. Yeah. Now the first method you see, acquisition of ownership rights on government initiative for the tenants. Number one methods, it provides about the acquisition of ownership and intermediate rights. That is head at first acquisition of ownership rights on government initiative for the tenants. Here, this concept provides that here for the tenants, the government they will have taken initiative for the acquisition of the ownership rights. Now you see, the state governments may be notifications declare that the rights of any landlord in any lands held and personally cultivated by an occupancy tenant shall stand transferred to the said tenant and vest in him free from all encumbrances created by the landlord. It should be noted that such declaration may be made only in case of land which is under personal cultivations of the occupancy tenant. Here, non-occupancy tenants being excluded from this benefit under Section 22 Clause 1. Now, personal cultivations, it means cultivation by the person himself or by any member of his family or by hired laborers on fixed remuneration payable in cash or kind, but not in crop share. Now, number one method for acquisition of ownership rights by the tenant. Here, government will notify the list of such tenants who will entitled to get the ownership rights. Here, conditions are given that it must be under the concept of the personal cultivations by the tenant himself or by his family members. They have to uh, cultivate producing crops in this holding. That is, yeah. And after the transferring of such land rights to the tenants, here all the encumbrances, whatever is just created before the transferring, it may be rent. That is, it will be totally, it will be uh, free from such rent. Then there will be no further rents have to be paid by the tenants. That is, and acquisition of landlord's rights by occupancy tenants is called acquisition of ownership rights. That is. Now the next. Acquisition of intermediary and ownership rights on government initiative for under tenants. And for under tenants also, the government will take initiative for the transferring of such ownership rights. Here, uh, here the non-occupancy tenants, that means who have possessed the holding for a period less than 3 years. At first, they have to obtain the status of the occupancy tenants. After that, the government will make initiative for such tenants for acquisition of the ownership rights. That's why it is called the intermediary ownership rights. Acquisition by the under tenants. That means they have to cross one step. At first, they have to cross the period of 3 years. They have to reach the period of 3 years or more than that. That's why whatever the acquisition of ownership rights by the under tenants, this is called the intermediary ownership rights of the under tenants. That is here. Now at the moment of the acquisition of such ownership rights and intermediary ownership rights by the tenants and under tenants. Now, for this acquisition of ownership, that is the landlord's right by the tenants and by the under tenant, it has to pay compensation to the landlord, and the quantum of compensations will determined by the deputy commissioner after giving notice to the landlord and other persons having interest in the land acquired, and after making inquiry and after hearing objections, if any, and determines the amount of compensations that has to be paid to landlord by the tenant or under tenant. That is, yeah. At the moment of the acquisition of ownership rights and the intermediary ownership right by the tenant and under tenant. They have to pay compensations, whatever determined by the deputy commissioner to the landlord. It is. Now the enhancements of the rent. Next heading is the enhancements of the rent. Now, Section 29 of this Act provides about the grounds for enhancements of rent. It is here. Number one grounds: the productive force of the lands have increased due to pluvial actions. Yeah, if the productive power of the holding by the tenants have increased due to the pluvial action by the river flood, got some fertilizer to make the ground more suitable for growing plants. In these cases, here the landlord has right to enhance the rent, and due to improvement effected at the landlord cost. And third ground, the area of the tenant's holding has increased by alluvions or otherwise. Or the Gulf revenue rate for the land has increased. That is, under these grounds, that is, the landlord has right to enhance the rent. Here, now the procedure of the enhancement of the rents, the landlord has to comply some procedure at the moment of the enhancement of the rent. Section 38, Section 30 of the Act provided about this. Here, the landlord himself cannot enhance the rent. He has got to apply to the deputy commissioner, who will make an inquiry and may even cause an inspection of the land, and then pass such order as deemed fit. Yeah, this procedure must be complied by the landlord. And reduction of the rents, under which grounds the tenant has right to reduct, right to reduction the rent. Here, Section 31 of the Act provides about the reduction grounds for reductions. Number one, the soil has become permanently deteriorated due to causes beyond his control. Under this ground, and the area of his holding has decreased due to diluvians or acquisition for public purposes. Diluvians, that means the some natural causes. It may be by flood if the area of the holding has decreased, and the Gulf revenue rate for the land has decreased. Under these grounds, the tenant has right for the reduction of the rent. Yeah, the tenant cannot reduce the rent himself. He has got to apply to the deputy commissioner, who will thereafter hold an inquiry and may even cause an inspection of the land and first such order as deemed fit. What the procedure is for the landlord and the tenant, they have to approach before the deputy commissioner for the enhancements of the rent, or in case for the reduction of the rent. That is. Here, and the tenant is entitled to a written receipt for payment of rent. And for the payment of rent, the tenant is entitled to receipt from the landlord. It is. And now, next section 38, it provides about the deposit of rent and revenue code. Yeah, in some grounds, the tenant is entitled to deposit the rent and the revenue code. Here, number one grounds, if the landlord refuses to accept the rent, the tenant may apply to the revenue officer seeking permission to deposit the cash rent along with the cost of transmission and fee for notice. Yeah. Number one condition stated, it is about the disputed matter. If the landlord refused to accept the rent, then the tenant has a right to approach to the court to deposit the rent. Here, the revenue officer will, after making an inquiry as to the bona fide of the circumstances, accept the account and issue a receipt which will be a valid discharge of the rent deposited. He will then remit the rent by money order to the last known address of the landlord. Here, the revenue officer, after getting this deposition from the tenant, he will issue a receipt to the tenant for the acknowledgements of this deposited of amount. It is here, tenant has right to deposit this amount in case of dispute with the landlord before the revenue officer. Here, if the tenant is in bona fide doubt as to who is entitled to receive the rent, he may, in like manner, apply to the revenue officer for permission to deposit the cash rent along with the cost of transmissions and fee for notice. The revenue officer, after necessary inquiry, will accept the amount and issue a receipt. That is, in case of the confusion, doubt about the owner, landlord, it is, in case it may be in the joint family property. If there are more than one owner, if the tenant is confused, under whom hands the rent has to be paid. In these cases, tenant has to right to deposit in the revenue officer court. That is. Now, this is the grounds for deposit of rents in revenue court. That is by the tenant. Here, next heading is when the occupancy tenants holding can be solved by court. Next heading is about the selling of the holding of the occupancy tenant, under which grounds the holding of the occupancy tenant can be solved by the court. For realization of the areas of rent under decree, the holding of an occupancy tenant can be attached and put in sale in the manner provided under the provisions of Chapter 8 of the Act of 1971. Chapter 8 of the Assam Temporarily Settled Areas Tenancy Act 1971, it provides that if there is arrears of rent, that is the defaulting amount by the tenant, to the landlord. In these cases, the holding of the occupancy tenant can be shall by the court. Here, and prior permissions of the deputy commissioner is not required for transfer of the holding in the auction process thereof. And after the selling of this by the public auctions by the competent court, here the prior permission of the deputy commissioner DC is not required. It is here after getting the decree from the civil court, it can be transferred to the auction procedure. You have to remember about this. Here, now the setting aside shall on deficit of area with cost. Now, the tenant has right to set aside by proceeding in the civil court within 30 days of the date of sale. That is, by depositing the arrears of rents and some cost to the civil court. This provision is given to the for the tenant. He has the right to set aside the order of sale by approaching the competent civil court within the 30 days after the date of the sale. That is, here next is the ground for ejectment of an occupancy tenant. Under which grounds an occupancy tenant can be ejected. Section 51 subsection 1 provides about this. An occupancy tenant may be ejected by the landlord only on the ground that he has used the lands in a manner which renders it unfit for tenancy. That is, but the landlord cannot carry out the ejectment himself. For the ejectments, landlord has to approach the court. That is, he has to file the ejectment suit. In cases of the holding of the land by the tenant, if it is affair state, it is unfit for the tenancy. If the tenant has possessed the materially impaired of the land, in these cases, here the landlord has right to file the ejection suit before the competent civil court. That is, procedure for ejectments. Sections 54 and 54A provides about this. Here, no tenant, whether he is an occupancy tenant or not, can be ejected except in execution of an ejectment decree passed by a competent civil court. Here, the procedure will be expropriated for the civil procedure court. Section 54, subsection 1 provides about this. And if he is ejected otherwise, then he may, within 90 days, apply to the revenue official for restoration of possession. For the ejectment under these grounds, the landlord has to obtain ejectment decree from the competent civil court. And if the decree is passed by the competent civil court, here the tenant has right to approach before the competent civil court within the 90 days for the restoration of such possessions. This procedure must be complied with at the moment of the ejectment of the tenants by the landlord, and in case of the restorations of the possessions by the tenant, it must be in compliance with the competent civil court decree, that is judgments. And okay, up to this, we have clearly discussed the concept of the acquisitions of ownership rights by the tenants and acquisition of the intermediary and ownership rights of the under tenants and the concept of the tenant at sufferance, tenants at will, tenant holding over, and the grounds for the enhancements of the rents, grounds for the reduction of the rent, and the deposition of the rents, grounds of deposition of the rents before the revenue official, revenue court by the tenants, and the procedure of ejectments by the landlord, and the procedure for the restorations of the possession holding by the tenant. Here we have got a clear concept up to this. Okay, that's all.